All right, while we maybe only went with 2 pitchers, we can certainly go with more than 2 hitters. So we will be here today with our full 3 hitters on the MLB DFS hitting picks show. Basically what we want to do, we just want to pick 3 hitters we think can have some success in tournaments tonight. I definitely lean far more towards tournaments than cash game play. Even though at times these plays will come off as chalky, the reality of the situation is that sometimes that's necessary. Like, Aaron Judge could be chalky. He might be in your cash game lineup. Why in the hell would that mean you can't play him in tournaments? I get the game theory portion of things, but if he goes out there and hits 2 home runs, unless you somehow pivoted off of him for the guy that hit 3 at the same exact price, so your roster construction would only be a little bit different than the next guy. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a wasted thought process. So let's get things started. Tonight, one of the guys I'm looking at, Justin Upton, 7,600 fantasy draft, 3,500 FanDuel, 4K DraftKings. I never have a problem picking on Yovani Gallardo. He's not a guy I like to go heavy on, though. It's not like I want to run an up and down lineup against him. I want to pick my spots. Upton, I just like the price where he falls on basically all of the fantasy sites. Actually a little more expensive on FanDuel than I'd like, so my exposure there will probably be a little bit lowered, especially since there's some other guys tonight that I like around that price range. I think that he's always a threat to go long. Again, he's not a guy who hits for average, but we're going for the deep ball on this one, and Justin Upton's someone I like. Moving on from there, let's go with Matt Kemp, 8K fantasy draft, 3,300 FanDuel, 4,100 DraftKings. I've said this a million times. This article literally is out by usually 8 o'clock at night, maybe 8:25. So it always irritates me when I mention someone and then they go on and hit a home run. Home runs are so unpredictable. It's not like guys can't go back-to-back nights with doing it. But let's just be honest. Unless you've got a guy who's a really good hitter or on a hot streak where he's just tearing the skin off the baseball and he's getting doubles and triples or he's stealing a lot of bases, you're going for the long ball, especially with a guy like Matt Kemp. So it was a little irritating when he hit a walk-off. I believe he did last night. I just very quickly looked. But he's going up against Matt Cain. I don't mind throwing some guys up against Matt Cain. Another situation where I just like the spot for Kemp. I like the price on Kemp. And it's one of those things where everything just feels like it's coming together. Last up, I could go the 3 other guys in our article. Anthony Rizzo, obviously great. Jose Ramirez has been just phenomenal this year. Aaron Judge, I mentioned him. But I think I'm actually just going to mention Justin Bour, 8,800 fantasy draft, 3,200 FanDuel, 4,600 DraftKings. On FanDuel, that's a gimme price. And I understand it's not necessarily a gimme matchup, but is it only not a gimme matchup just because you look at the name of Jake Arrieta and you still think back to the couple of years where he was really, really, really good, like Cy Young caliber pitcher? Because that's not the way it's been in 2017. He's fluctuated pretty wildly, given up some big games. This Marlins lineup isn't one that you can just gloss over and pretend it didn't happen. So I think there is definitely some upside to playing Bour. I'm not going to avoid him on DraftKings. It's just that when his price on FanDuel is $1,600 less than Anthony Rizzo at the same position, you do have to take notice because he could spend up elsewhere. Anthony Rizzo is not going to lead off every game with a home run this year. So, it's one of those situations where I think I'll save the money on Bour there. $700 less on DraftKings, still enough of a deal that Bour stays in the conversation. Like the upside for the Marlins, like the upside for Bour. Once again, 3 of our favorite tournament bats tonight: Justin Upton, Matt Kemp, Justin Bour. Thanks for watching our video today. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Go ahead and check us out at researchfantasy.com. We're adding new content daily. Like us on Facebook at Research Fantasy. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win. And join us again tomorrow.